Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Matthew Boyle from LanguageCardGames.com, where we believe if you can play cards, you can learn languages. Thanks so much for tuning in again to another video. I hope you're doing well today. I hope all your studies, whether they be related to language learning or anything else, are going well. I know a lot of us are stuck inside today. Today I wanted to make a slightly different video that I think is going to interest you if you are interested in words, if you are a creative type, maybe an entrepreneur, if you study languages, and especially if you have an overactive mind and imagination, if it's easy for you to be distracted by new and interesting ideas while you're working. You may be wondering, what the heck are we looking at? This looks like a very chaotic and messy little box full of note papers, and it is, but it's actually a very effective and practical little hack of mine that lets me deal with all the new words and ideas that I encounter in my daily life while at the same time staying on track with the work that I want to be doing. So I'm going to explain I'm going to explain what I'm going to do. It's very simple what I do, but I'm going to explain it in today's video. And if you like these ideas, be sure to subscribe and give it a like. And I'm happy to answer any comments or questions you have down below. So I think if you are the kind of person who is learning languages on a daily basis or writing on a daily basis, it may be more easy for you and necessary for you to have a daily habit of looking up words and new ideas that you're encountering on a daily basis, having that daily habit and writing them down and learning them. But I think for some of us, it really depends on the type of work that you do and the types of daily habits that you have. But if you're like me, I'm in a situation where I may be working creatively to design and produce a card game. I might be reading a book that I want to enjoy, whether it be in English or in another language like Mandarin. And I may be talking and conversing with friends, and sometimes they share words or ideas or concepts that I don't know. There's a variety of situations in my daily life. It routinely happens where I'm encountering new words and ideas, but if I were to go and look them up right away, I would lead a very distracted and interrupted life. What I prefer to do is engage in longer periods of concentration or study or reading or talking with people, and then I will look up those new words and ideas that I encountered later, and I will batch process them all at once. This is kind of like a batch processing system. So what do I do exactly? Well, just about anywhere I go or anywhere I work, I usually have a little notepad with me. Oh, I should have grabbed one of those. Oh, I got one going right over here today. So I usually have something like this at my desk at home, at my desk at work, or it might be a little notebook. And I have a little notebook in my backpack as well, so whenever I'm traveling I have one. I'm rarely without paper and pencil. Sometimes I use my cell phone too, and I make notes in the notepad in my cell phone. In fact, I haven't checked that in a while. I should probably check that too. But what I do is I don't allow myself to get too distracted from the conversation at hand, the reading at hand, the studying at hand, or if I'm watching the news. I just have a habit of marking down really quickly, just jotting on whatever notepad I have around. I'll just jot it down and maybe shove it in my pocket. And then when I go home, I have this box where I just shove the notes. And I don't even worry about them. I don't even think about it. This is just a little collection system. And then whenever I'm in the mood, I start going through these and researching them and defining them into notebooks that I have. So what I'll do is, like, if you were a somewhat normal person, you might do this on a weekly basis or every 2 weeks or once a month. But for me, this is because it's not essential really to my livelihood, and this is just kind of the life that I lead. I will dig into these purely when I'm in the mood to do so, and that works best for me. But I think for a lot of people, it might be better to have a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly habit. So this is actually, I would say, about 1 year of notes. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. And during the recent months, I did pull out some of these things, and I had already defined them, organized them. But many of the notes in here, I've just finally was really in the mood to dig into today. And I put in maybe an hour's worth of work today to define and sort some of these things. And then I just put them back into the box to show you what the box looks like. So what kind of things go into this box? Well, one thing that's very obvious would be vocabulary words. So when I hit new vocabulary words that I don't know, or else I just really like and I want to save, I note those down. I don't worry about figuring out what they mean right away necessarily, because that would take me away from my work at hand. But let me show you some vocabulary words I really liked. Moonquake. I didn't even know that earthquakes happen on the moon as well, so I thought that's a really cool name for those. Quixotic, I would encounter again and again and never remember what it meant. Magisteria, lucid dreaming, somnambulation, zephyr. I don't even know how to pronounce that one. Sobriquet, maybe? And you can see the note CC for Chinese champion, the note OT for other tongue. Those are some of the card games I make. So sometimes I'm noting down, see, a good word for the next air set of Chinese champions. I'm noting down words that I think would be good to incorporate into the card games. Here's some more for Chinese champions. Gossamer, effervescent. So if there's words that I think would particularly tie into a theme or a set of the card games, then I'll note those down. I also love to write down quotes or good ideas that I have. I liked this idea that I heard from somebody, that your subconscious is very easy to program when you're falling asleep. So you should really be aware if you're absorbing negative news, and that your subconscious programming, your mind will work hard to engineer into reality. So your subconscious is all the time working, and it's working in the background, and it's working in ways we don't understand, so it's really important what we feed it. Sometimes I note down ideas, little quotes or ideas, taglines, ad lines for my own company, Language Card Games. If you didn't learn a foreign language, it's only because you didn't stay in the game long enough. Sometimes I note down linguistics terms. I was talking with my friend Leo. He suggested some linguistics concepts that I could incorporate into the next Other Tongue series: hypernym, hyponym, meronym. So, this little system here just collects everything. It's a catch-all. It could be vocabulary, it could be idioms, it could be quotes, it could be ideas, it could be just funny things people said to me or questions people asked me. Anything of interest, I just jot it down and shove it into this box at the end of the day. When I'm in the mood, I start sorting through and organizing it into... Next, I'm going to show you some notebooks. Here's a few of the notebooks that I use that all those notes get sorted into. This first one is my vocabulary notebook, and I love it. I think I would be very upset if I ever lost it or anything happened to it. So I will note down vocabulary words that I don't know, and then define them later when I'm in the mood. So this is an English vocabulary notebook. You can see these ones have already been defined. And I think later I might type the words into a computer, at least, if not the definitions, but type the words in and alphabetize them and study them. see if I can remember their definitions, and if I don't, maybe check this notebook. And then all words are in the front. In the back are sayings and idioms and funny expressions. I do those in the back and I work the other way. So this book collects all the vocabulary words and phrases. This notebook is for quotes that I like. And this notebook is quite big, and I highly recommend this for creative types. If you're a creative type, get yourself a very big notebook where you can keep everything, all the ideas. This really helps because otherwise you might lose track of where certain ideas are in certain notebooks. You might lose certain notebooks. If everything's all in one place, you know the idea has to be in there somewhere. And you can divide such a big notebook with tabs, different sections for different purposes. This notebook I've been using for all my ideas related to language card games for almost 2 years or so. I note down all kinds of things I want to make videos about, words and backstories for the card games, and so on. All right. So that about wraps it up for this video. I just wanted to share this little hack. If you really like to learn new words, but you feel kind of overwhelmed and too distracted in your daily life, maybe you can consider doing this. Just make a little note, put it aside, get back to your work at hand. And then later, could be once a week or once every 2 weeks, later on, you can pull them out of the box and start to sort and define them when you're in the mood to do such a thing. This kind of batch processing is really efficient and effective. It's kind of like a planned, intentional procrastination. Okay, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you back here next time at Language Card Games. Bye-bye for now.